Hello and welcome back to House Flipper 2 and the Great Sandbox tutorial. In today's episode, we are going to talk about surface quests. So with surface quests, this allows us to be able to lay down the surface, painting or materials that go on walls, ceilings, floors, etc. So, make sure when you're doing surface quests that you are in the surface quest tool. I don't know how many times when I've created jobs been in the surface finishes tool, which is just your normal tool. But if you want to set it as a mission job, it needs to be part of surface quests. So we go into surface quests, you'll notice that you have kind of the same things as you do with surface finishes. You have the R for copy surface finish, hold to find the surface finish in the store, and then obviously to select the first point and end point where you like the user to execute an item. You also have Q, which allows us to go in and select the materials, colors, and patterns as we see fit. So just like anything else, if I go in and select this, and let's grab stone tiles, let's put that on the back wall here. Nice and beautiful. Alright, now let's set let's change size and rotation. Let's put that down on the floor. Alright, great. And then let's have the player put up let's have them put up wallpaper on this wall. And then let's have the player put up paint on the other walls. Now, this is the underside of a ceiling. You notice how I don't have the ability to paint this. Same thing is going to go with the outer edges of the roofing. You won't be able to have the player paint it. It is unfortunate, but the player will have to make that decision for themselves. They'll be allowed to do so, but you won't be able to, as the developer, set that. So once you've set some surface finishes, you can come in. I just went back to my hands tool. Notice how everything disappeared. Let's go in and test the property. Turn our lights on. All right, we got our paint. All right, good. It's found where we have to paint. There we go. And this is where budget comes into play now, because the player is going to be using that budget as they buy all these materials. So if you have a house that's filled with marble, be prepared to give them a larger budget. Marble is not cheap. And some of the couches are extremely expensive in this game. Alright, so we've done those two walls. Now when I pick the wallpaper here, notice how the floor and the other two walls have showed up. This is something to think about when you're working on your jobs, is that the player isn't going to know which wall to put it on. The game is just letting them do it wherever they want. So if you remember, I had set this to be the other way, with the slate tiles. Well, now it's letting me do this, where I can put this down on the floor. I can be a pure agent of chaos, and there's nothing as a developer I will be able to do to prevent this. So oftentimes what a lot of people will do when they're creating jobs is they will force people, or not force people, but show people the way, right? Give them some pictures, either in the outlines of the job, on mod.io, or they'll actually embed it right into the game. But people can truly be agents of chaos with the surface finishes tool. Alright, so let's exit testing, and let's remove all this. So really simple, we can just come up in here into the clear surface quests. It takes us into the future. Now we can see our surfaces we just click once, twice, the surface quest has been removed. It's no longer part of the job. We could do that for all of our surfaces. Now, I'm not going to do it with the floor, only because I want to show one thing. I'm going to go ahead and buy something here. Let's just buy this little cabinet here. There we go. Alright, so we got this in here. Now, if I go back to what we covered last time, and we look at item quests. The minute I move into buy, I jump into the future. So it removes anything that I have here, it updates with all the surface finishes, and it shows us into the future what's going on. So if I set this to buy, and then I roll back out here, it is now gone. The surface finish is gone, that's now part of the job part. If I want to roll back into the future, I just switch back into buy mode. And I can, as long as I'm last in buy mode, I can stay in buy mode. So I could come in here and I could say, let's add another storage cabinet and let's add in a chair or couch. There we go. So we were able to add all this in the buy mode, get it all added, and now it's here into the future. Whereas if I was back into sell mode, I'm back into the present, and I could say, hey user, I want you to sell that light. And so now you notice buy mode, the lights disappeared, sell mode, everything else has disappeared. So just keep that in mind when you're kind of playing around with this. I use the item quest button a lot to get me into what it's going to look like versus what it looks like right now. But yeah, it's kind of trick of the trade, I guess, as to how we do this. So with that, I'm going to close this out. We've covered surface finishes, talked a lot about how we do this and discuss best strategies. So hopefully you learned something new, and I will see you all next time. Thanks.